For this scrap fabric boxy pouch, you're going to need a piece of fabric which is 12 inches by 9.5 inches. You're going to need an internal fabric on your scrap fabric boxy pouch, and that is also going to be 12 inches by 9.5. Now, you're going to need some kind of stabilization, totally up to you what you want to use. I like to use this foam. You can get it from any fabric store, and it helps to stabilize your scrap fabric boxy pouch really well. And you will also need a zipper. This zipper is a bit too long. You do want your zipper to be at least 14 inches long because you want it to extend past the scrap fabric boxy pouch. So I'm just going to cut off the end here, and I'm going to cut off these bits here also, and we're also going to pull off the zipper pull, so you can have two sections of zipper. For the inside binding of the pouch, you're going to need at least about 16 inches of the internal side of your scrap fabric boxy pouch, and it's kind of like a little cheats way of doing binding, like if you're not very good at it. And I don't want you to be scared of doing binding. I really want you to be adventurous about that. So it is going to be 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches this way, and then just do a whole length of 16, and we'll cut it as we go along. So you're going to need a handle for your pouch. I have matched it up to the external fabric. It is 4 inches by 6 inches. First thing I'm going to do is adhere the internal and the external part of our scrap fabric boxy pouch. So mine is actually double-sided fusible. I'm going to take this over to the iron. You can also use a spray adhesive, or I will actually be quilting it. So you could be pinning your stabilizer, and you can also quilt this. So this is the first side of our scrap fabric boxy pouch, all adhered, and I'm going to do the other side of the pouch. I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to do a few lines adhering both sides together, just so it's totally secured. And it's up to you how you want to do it. You could actually do a meander on here if you wanted to, or you can do straight lines just like me. The zipper is going to go on the shortest ends. Now there's a front side and there's a back side to this zipper. So the zip part will be face down, so you don't see the zipper at all. See how that's got the zipper on it? So it's going to be face down, and you want to extend past the project. So this is on the 9.5 inch end, and I would recommend just getting wonder clips or pins and pinning this down. You take it over to the sewing machine and you stitch this down. So here's the first side. Don't cut these off just yet. They're going to help us when we put our zipper into place. So go ahead and sew the other side on. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this tape back on itself, so then we can then top stitch our scrap fabric boxy pouch. So I'll show you on the other side what we're doing. So we're basically going to flip this back, so the tape will be stuck to the back on the internal, and we'll have a nice top stitching keeping this in place. The next thing we're going to do is flip the bag over, so this is the side that's on the inside, the internal, and basically fold the bag over so it's basically in half, like so. Just make sure all your seams are matching up, and then you're going to put the zipper pull on. You're going to find it easier just to make sure that everything is parallel on the zip. You're going to take your zip and you're going to put it on. If you want to know how to put a zipper pull on. I have a video and I will link that down below. Once you have the pull on, you're going to pull it off. So that would mean that the two ends are now stuck together. So I am just going to close this up at the bottom here, and I'm going to do that with a couple of threads. And make sure that you're sewing over the ends that you don't need to put the zip back on the pull. So if you want to make sure, you can just pull at this, and this is the end that your pull goes on. So we're going to close this up with the sewing machine. And there you go, you can see that it's nice and shut and it can't come open. So I'm going to cut off the excess here, and then I'm going to put that pull on once again. Once that zipper is in place, you can then go ahead and cut the excess off. I have turned the pouch inside out, and we are now going to do some box corners on all four. I take my ruler and I mark 1 inch on all four corners with a friction pen, and then I will cut them out. So that's all four sides of my scrap fabric boxy pouch cut. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sew this end and this end of our scrap fabric boxy pouch. Before we do that, just make sure that the zipper of your pouch is open. I personally don't like raw seams, and this is where the binding is going to come into play. And I don't want you to be scared of doing binding either on the inside of a pouch. If you are not so confident with doing binding, just make sure that the fabric that you're using on the inside matches the inside of the pouch. So my binding is going to match perfectly with this, and it should show up less mistakes basically. So the binding I've cut is a little bit longer and it extends past where I'm going to be placing it. And this is so I can close my raw seams up at each end. So I'm just going to do just a tiny bit. This is like, what? Like 1/2 inch, if that. Just double check. But 1/2 inch on each end, and you're going to fold them in and you're going to press them with your iron. There we go. We've got the raw seams hidden, and we've got the raw seams on the wrong side of the fabric. We've got the right sides facing each other like so, and you're just going to stitch this end 1/4 inch. Now with that stitch into place, you are then going to fold it over, and then you're going to turn this over here, and then you're going to fold it over, covering the other side of the pouch, and then you're going to stitch this into place. See, it's really easy. So there we go, that's the first one done. And like I said, if you're not very confident about doing binding on the inside of a pouch, just match up the two fabrics together. Don't try and do something adventurous like a black and then with a white thread. It's going to show up all of your errors. So this is a little hack for you. For the handle, you're going to take your fabric and you're going to fold it in half and press. Then you open it up, it creates a center line. Then you're going to press this side, and then you're going to fold this side in and press. Then I like to do a stitch on each side all the way down. Now you're going to take your pouch, you're going to put your handle from one of these openings to the other side and just pull it out. I kind of jigged it about and make sure that it isn't twisted on the inside, and then you're just going to box out your corners. You want the strap to be in the center of that boxed out corner. So you have 2 bits here, and you're going to sew these into place. One thing I recommend you do is just put your hand inside of there and just make sure that you've caught everything down. So we're going to do the same thing here to the other end, but obviously with no handle in place. Now go ahead and put the binding strips on all 4 of these corners. I know you're going to not like it, but you will thank me later because it does look a lot more professional when you do that. So tidy up all of your loose threads and we are ready to turn our scrap fabric boxy pouch right sides out for its reveal. You can just take a chopstick or something and just poke out these corners really nicely. It is just the right side to put some pens in, so you can use it as a pencil case if you want to. So thank you very much for watching my scrap fabric boxy pouch. I hope to see you again at my channel. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I have over 500 sewing tutorials on my channel now, so there is definitely lots to be watching. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.